When you think Donald Trump has already hit rock bottom, Ben Meiselas comes forward with a revelation showing that the embarrassment can go even further. In today's video, you'll understand how Trump has become a global laughingstock, not because of a slip-up, but because of the pattern of chaos, lies, and incompetence he created himself. Get ready. What you're about to see is simply humiliating for a president.
What in the world are you doing, Donald? Donald Trump is crashing out on Friday morning. We've learned that he has now fired the architect of the Golden Ballroom that he's building after demolishing the East Wing. More on that in a bit. We learned that the CDC vaccine panel has now removed the recommendation for children at birth to get the hepatitis B vaccine. We're learning that the FBI was caught providing chaperones to Kash Patel's girlfriend's friends when they go out and having to give them rides as ordered by Kash Patel. There's much more I want to talk about, but what's Donald Trump doing this morning as his regime is collapsing? He made FIFA, like the football soccer league FIFA, create a peace prize. So they have their first inaugural peace prize, and Donald Trump made them award the peace prize to himself and then had the head of FIFA hold a ceremony so Donald Trump could get the Peace Prize medal, like the participation medal, and he was wearing it and he was so happy and he's like, look, I got it. This guy is utterly deranged. Do we realize how weak and pathetic he looks? I'll talk about that in just a moment as well. I just want to remind you, we here at the Midas Touch Network are on our way to 6 million subscribers. That deranged maniac Donald Trump and his regime attack us almost daily. State regime media known as Fox attacks us, and all the MAGA people constantly give us death threats. We're leading all independent media. You may think you're subscribed to this channel, but you may not actually be subscribed. So please check now and hit subscribe to our YouTube channel. I want to get to 6 million subscribers this month. So here was Donald Trump at this award ceremony for a peace prize for soccer. Why are you creating a peace prize? What the hell is going on? And you'll see how happy he is to get this award. Here, play this clip.
Mr. President, and you definitely deserve the first FIFA Peace Prize for your action, for what you have obtained in your way, but you obtained it in an incredible way, and you can always count, Mr. President, on my support, on the support of the entire football community or soccer community to help you make peace and make the world prosper all over the world. Thank you very much, Mr. President. The floor is all yours. Thank you.
By the way, when he gets this fake medal, like, look how happy he looks. And then they talk about, this is your beautiful peace prize, Donald. And just watch him right here. Play this clip.
This is your peace prize. There is also a beautiful medal for you that you can wear everywhere you want to go.
I'm gonna wear it right now.
Okay, let me hold. Fantastic. Excellent.
And then he gives this bizarre speech about why is it called football and maybe soccer should be called football. Here, play this clip.
He scored 3 goals out there. I said, that man can play. I was pretty young at that point, and who knew this was going to happen? But when you look at what has happened to football in the United States, again, soccer in the United States, we seem to never call it that because we have a little bit of a conflict with another thing that's called football. But when you think about it, shouldn't it really be called? I mean, this is football. There's no question about it. We have to come up with another name for this.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make sense when you think about it. It's really football. But who would have thought it would have come to a level where...
I don't know what's more deranged than that. I really don't. I mean, I'm at a loss of words for what I just showed you right there. Going back to what else happened this morning, we learned that Donald Trump fired the main architect of the Golden Ballroom. Yep, McCreary, the McCreary architects are gone because Donald Trump wanted to build that ballroom even bigger. And McCreary's like, it's already like 3 times the size of the White House. And Trump said bigger. Also, we hear that Donald Trump is, surprise, surprise, not paying his contractors. That's right. The contractors working on Trump's ballroom, including McCreary Architects, Clark Construction, and AECOM, did not go through the traditional government bidding process. Instead, Donald Trump told them, don't worry about it. We'll pay you in the future. And you know, all those people saying that they were going to give all of these commitments, yeah, maybe some of that money hasn't come in yet. And so you've got a lot of contractors and subcontractors right now who are like, can we have our money? Donald Trump is a fraud. He can't even keep the architect of his ridiculous golden ballroom. Getting more information as well about the identity of this potential pipe bomber at the DNC and RNC. This guy, Brian Cole Jr., the suspect accused of being that January 6th pipe bomber. Apparently, again, we need to know more because everything out of this FBI, you always have to go, But here's what we're learning. He apparently confessed to agents that he planted the bombs because of his support for Donald Trump, according to two people familiar with his interview. He says he's a Trumper. He bought into all the Trump conspiracies. Ironically, if you will, you know that broad pardon that Donald Trump gave to anyone who was involved in, at, or around Washington, D.C. relating to the January 6th insurrection? Well, it seems like this guy would now be covered by his support of Donald Trump based on the way Donald Trump framed that pardon. That it looks like Donald Trump could have pardoned this guy, either accidentally or intentionally. But yes, folks, he's a Trumper. But when I say whatever this FBI is doing, as always, you got to have a question mark, because additional great reporting from MS Now and Washington Post talking about FBI Director Kash Patel on more than one occasion ordered that the security detail protecting his girlfriend escort one of her allegedly inebriated friends home after a night of partying in Nashville. Must be nice, right? Like, while we, the people, are suffering under this Trump regime, while Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, if they even are getting that paycheck, are psychologically tortured by what this regime is doing as everything is more expensive, less affordable. Yeah, you've got Kash Patel flying around in private jets paid for by the taxpayers. Donald Trump giving himself peace prizes. Has there ever been a more pathetic regime than this group of scumbags? Seriously. And then MAGA Mike was giving interviews this morning. I'll show you the MAGA Mike headlines from this morning in just a moment. But MAGA Mike was like, we've had the most productive Congress in history. We've never been more productive. Here's what MAGA Mike has to say. Here, play this clip.
If we stay unified, there is absolutely nothing that we can't achieve. And we've already demonstrated that this Congress. We've had one of the most productive Congresses in the history of the institution.
Do you need the president to get on the phone to some reluctant GOP members in the House and say, come on?
He's been very helpful at a couple of junctures along the way where we've had big legislation, the one big beautiful bill, the working families tax cut, other things where you had 2 or 3 or 4 holdouts, which I can't afford. Now, remember, in previous years, speakers had 25, 30, 40 seat majorities. I have a razor-thin majority. I have to get every single Republican on most days. And so it takes a lot of work, but we're going to get there.
And just take a look at MAGA Mike Johnson's press clips from today. As Aaron Frischner says, there's something else. Johnson pleads with Republicans to keep concerns private after a tumultuous week. Johnson scrambles to pass Pentagon bill as GOP ranks seed. Johnson struggles to keep control of the House floor. Can Johnson survive until the midterms? Johnson faces growing frustration from Republicans as key issues expose rifts. The funny thing is that there is so much corporate media that would always be like, oh, Midas touch, your headlines are so hyperbolic and okay, we're just calling out what's going on in this regime, and your headlines look an awful lot like the way our headlines looked 3 months ago when we were calling all this out. By the way, another reason why you should subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're like 2, 3, 6 months, sometimes years ahead of what corporate news is reporting on based on our sourcing and research. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And again, as I mentioned, this Vaccine Advisory Board, ACIP, they voted to end the long-standing recommendation that newborns receive the hepatitis B vaccine, the most significant change to the childhood immunization schedule under Health Secretary or anti-health secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. Now, Bill Cassidy, who's a former physician, senator, who chairs the health committee in the Senate. He's the one who allowed all of this to take place by allowing RFK to become the head of the Department of Health and Human Services. He goes, as a liver doctor who has treated patients with hepatitis B for decades, this change to the vaccine schedule is a mistake. The hepatitis B vaccine is safe and effective. The birth dose is a recommendation, not a mandate. Before the birth dose was recommended, 20,000 newborns a year were infected with hepatitis B. Now it's fewer than 20. Ending the recommendation for newborns makes it more likely the number of cases will begin to increase again. This makes America sicker. Acting CDC Director O'Neill should not sign these new recommendations and instead retain the current evidence-based approach. What are you talking about? This is your crew. This is your crew, Cassidy. These are the people that you wanted to kill the American people. Shame on you, because your entire legacy as a doctor is one of medical malpractice and killing people as a result of what you've done by allowing RFK to take this position. Now, what's Donald Trump doing in addition to giving himself fake Peace Prize awards? Here's what he posted. I've just approved tiny cars to be built in America. Manufacturers have long wanted to do this, just like they are so successfully built in other countries. Oh my God, he's so tiny. Cars? Who thought? Did you just think of this, Donald, this morning while you were firing your architect for the Golden Ballroom? Tiny car. Oh my God. Give this guy a tiny car medal. Hey, Mr. Toyota. Hey, Mr. Toyota, you want to create an award ceremony that Donald Trump, the first person to come up with the idea of tiny cars, everybody. And just watch. He rants and raves like a lunatic this morning too. The Democrats' number one policy push is the complete and total obliteration of our great United States Supreme Court. They will do this on their very first day in office through the simple termination of the filibuster. Should they win in the upcoming election, the radical left Democrats are looking for 21 justices. And then all of Trump's like MAGA cult, you're like traitors, treason, let the tribunals begin. Like, dude, these are some sick people. Speaking of sick people, Kevin Hassett, Donald Trump's national economic advisor, he was asked, so when do things get more affordable, Hassett? Just give us some time. It's coming. Here, play this clip.
Under Joe Biden. And so we're making progress, but it's going to take a little bit more time to get the hole that Biden dug to be completely filled. But we're going to do it. We're highly confident we're going to do it. And the numbers that you and I have been talking about this morning highlight why people should be so optimistic that we'll be successful.
Absolutely. And
then you have MAGA Republican Congress member Jason Smith on CNBC, and even the CNBC Joe Kiernan guy, the MAGA guy's like, so do you guys have a healthcare plan? Watch what he says here. Here, play this clip.
There's things that we
Does
can
Mike
do.
Johnson, is he saying that they have a plan? Is the speaker?
Yesterday he said that we're working on a plan.
Okay. I'm on Andrew. What do you think, Andrew? You got any?
You're doing great.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm trying to be
down the middle. I see.
Trying to blame both sides.
But it is blamable on both sides.
Well, okay. He's not going to really say anything. He's just going to say what he said. Is that what you're saying? You're looking at me saying what he said?
Exactly.
Okay. We got to go, Mr. Chairman. We hope you come back.
One more clip for you of Kevin Hassett talking about Donald Trump. The best communicator ever, he says. Here, play this clip.
I mean, there have been so many wins to talk about that I think it's just going to be a great time. He's the best communicator I've ever seen. There's going to be a great time for him to go out there and just talk about, like, we could say one thing that we've got 18 trillion in new factories being built, but now we've actually got the groundbreakings that we could report on. And so I think that people are going to be really impressed with the progress that we're making, and it's going to be very, very impressive data as well. And so I think that because the president is on fast forward and he's solving, it seems, all the world's problems, stopping wars and everything else, that it's time now to spend a little bit of time reminding people about all the progress we've made on the economy, and that's what he's going to do.
Oh, I'll leave you with this. Dan Bongino, deputy FBI director. Did you hear what he said on Fox, on state regime media, which calls itself Fox? So as it relates to the pipe bomber, when he was a podcaster, Bongino was saying that this is a massive cover-up. This must be someone anti-Trump or an insider job. Well, we know it's a Trumper. Now we know it's one of Trump's people in connection with January 6th is what we're getting. So what are you going to say about that, Bongino? So Bongino goes, I used to just get paid to post these things. And now that I'm the deputy FBI director, I can't just say I can't just spread all of these deranged conspiracies. Here, play this clip.
You know, I don't know if you remember this. This is before you became the deputy FBI director. You put a post on X right after this happened. And you said there's a massive cover-up because the person that planted those pipe bombs, they don't want you to know who it is because it's either a connected anti-Trump insider or an inside job. You said that, you know, long before you were even thought of as deputy FBI director.
Yeah, that's why I said to you, this investigation's just begun. We are pretty comfortable. We have our guy. I think again, legal process starts to surface and information, facts start to come out. The public's going to be very comfortable with the investigation that was conducted under Director Patel and his leadership. He's been great on this. But I don't want to, listen, I was paid in the past, Sean, for my opinions. That's clear. And one day I'll be back in that space. But that's not what I'm paid for now. I'm paid to be your deputy director. And we base investigations on facts. And, it was interesting. I was looking out in the crowd today at the presser, and I saw a couple of media figures who you and I both know who promoted the other scandal, the collusion hoax. And I thought to myself, the difference between us and them is, we evolve. As information and new inputs come out, we can produce different outputs because that's what we believe in. We believe in facts and investigations guided by facts. There were people out there in that crowd, I'm sure still believe in this collusion fairy tale hoax. So we'll see. We're going to be guided by the facts as this thing goes forward. And I can't stop leave the truck here without thanking the president.
When I look at everything that happened this morning, honestly, I keep asking myself, what on earth is going on with the United States government? Because, look, before anything else, we need to understand the bigger picture. We have a president completely disconnected from reality, surrounded by scandals, incompetence, and decisions that make absolutely no sense, while the country faces real crises in health, the economy, and security that require leadership, seriousness, and responsibility. And what does Trump do? He awards himself a Peace Prize medal created by FIFA at his own request. This isn't just pathetic, it's dangerous. And I say this as someone who has followed American politics for decades. I have never seen a president so desperate to manufacture his own narrative of greatness while everything around him is collapsing. He fires the architect of the Golden Hall because he wants everything even bigger, even more extravagant, even more ridiculous. He fires contractors, pays no one, creates debts, builds without bidding, and then tries to present himself to the world as an admired, respected, award-winning leader. It's almost painful to watch the childishness of this behavior, and even more painful to realize that this is happening in the White House. But that isn't even the worst part. The worst part is that while Trump plays king in his own golden palace, extremely serious decisions are being made by people who are completely unqualified. The CDC committee removing basic vaccination recommendations for newborns. That's not just irresponsible, it's putting babies' lives at risk in the name of a distorted ideological agenda. It will increase cases, increase suffering, and increase costs for a healthcare system that is already overwhelmed. And all of this under a government that treats science as the enemy and experts as a threat. And then you see the FBI involved in absurd scandals, with agents serving as private drivers for the girlfriend's friends of Kash Patel, while the FBI leadership itself is drowning in a mix of incompetence and political games. This is not a functional government. This is a caricature of a government. And Donald Trump, instead of taking responsibility, confronting these crises, or at the very least, pretending to govern, he is smiling, holding a fake medal created solely to massage his own ego. And he's giving a speech about soccer, sports names, and nostalgic goals. It's impossible not to think, how is an entire country being run by someone who, during a national crisis, acts as if he's at an elementary school talent show? And that's not even mentioning the internal chaos in the Republican Party. Mike Johnson appears in interviews saying, he leads the most productive Congress in history, while he can't even control his own caucus. The party is fractured, divided, confused, and completely submissive to Trump's moods, crises, and paranoias. This is not leadership. This is collective emotional blackmail. The truth is that we are witnessing the collapse of a government that never had the structure to govern. With every new revelation, every new complaint, every new scandal, it becomes clearer that Trump not only lacks the capacity to lead, he should never have come anywhere near the presidency. He governs for himself, for his impulses, for his narcissism, while the population foots the bill, suffers the consequences, and loses basic rights that took decades to secure. And here's the irony. Even the suspect in planting bombs on January 6th, an extremist driven by Trump's conspiracy theories, may have been accidentally pardoned by the same president who promoted, encouraged, and fueled that fanaticism. This shows without any doubt that Trumpism is not only incompetent, it is dangerous, corrosive, and in many ways a direct enemy of democratic institutions. Meanwhile, the population works, struggles, tries to survive inflation, hardships, and the cost of living, and the Trump government plays with fake awards, tiny cars, and delusional speeches. The country needs real solutions, not ego-driven fantasies. It needs serious leaders, not figures who use public power as their personal stage. But perhaps the most frightening part of all is realizing that even in this absolute chaos, there are still Republicans who defend this government, who shield Trump, who dismiss criticism as political attacks, as if we weren't witnessing the most severe institutional weakening in decades. As a Democrat, as a progressive, and above all, as an American citizen, I cannot accept this passively. The question that remains is simple. How long will the United States tolerate this level of irresponsibility? How long will an entire country carry the emotional, financial, and institutional weight of a government run by someone who can't even manage his own staff, his own projects, his own sanity? And honestly, I fear the answer.